Like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be looking. Should I be looking there? Should I be looking there? Should I be looking there? Maybe I should be looking at the camera. Is that the camera? That's the camera. All right, so for today's first topic of Talk About It Thursdays, we're going to talk about how being independent can be a blessing as well as a curse. Now, let me give you guys a little bit of background about myself. I am a very independent person. Like, it's so bad to where it's so good, but it's really so bad. Let me give you a little background real quick. Okay, so I'll be 31 in October this year, right? And I have been working since I was 16. Like, literally my 16th birthday, I went to McDonald's, I applied for a job, got it, and I've been working literally ever since. So from 16 until now, I've only had a 2-year gap. Straight from high school, I joined the military. I joined the Navy. I know it don't look like it, huh? But yes, I joined the Navy, did 5 good years, gave the Navy, everything I had to offer. And a lot happened within that 5 years. But prior to me joining the military, I come from a very independent background. I was raised by my mother. Yes, my dad was in the picture, but I was primarily raised in a single parent household with my mother and my grandmother. And the two of them were very independent. My mom still is very independent, but well, she's dependent on us now, like her kids. It's just me and my sister, but she was a very independent woman. My mama has never been married or anything like that. She's had long relationships. Her and my dad was together for years. And they kind of went their separate ways, and she had her relationships and whatnot, but for the most part, it was just her taking care of the house, her and my grandmother, until my grandmother passed away, and then it was just my mom. So coming from that background, I already knew that. And then my mom, like I said, she was a single parent, so we didn't have a lot of money. Okay, we had everything we needed, but we didn't always have what we wanted. And I was one of those kids where I wanted everything that I wanted. So I knew, like, at a young age, listen, you're gonna have to work for everything because it's not gonna be given to you, baby girl. So at the age of 16, as soon as I was able to work, I went and got a job, because until this day, I am a person that I don't like to hear the word no. I just don't. Like, I just don't want nobody telling me no, because I just don't. I don't know. I'm just like that. I don't want to hear the word no. So I would rather go and work for it or get it on my own than to have to depend on somebody else to get it for me, because if I want it, I want it in a moment. I don't want to have to wait. I don't want you to tell me I need to wait, or I just don't want you to tell me no. So I got a job at the age of 16, and I worked all the way up until I joined the military. I joined the military at the age of 17, and I left for boot camp at the age of 18. It was 6 months after my 18th. Well, no, it was 3 months after my 18th birthday, I joined the military. And that was a whole nother level of independence. Like, it was just me. I didn't have anybody. I didn't have my family. I didn't have any friends. It was just me, God, and the good old Navy. But luckily, I was able to have a military family. And if you know anybody that's in the military, you know that they tell you that some of the best people you'll meet will become family, and then you'll kind of form your own thing when you're in the military, because you only have each other to depend on. So while being in the military, I was by myself. I was independent. I was living on my own. And it is what it is. Like, it was just me. So a lot of the things that I acquired on my own. Like, for instance, my sister. I have an older sister. She's 5 years older than me. My mom bought her a car on her 16th birthday. Did I get a car? No. So I had to buy my own car. So when I joined the military, I got my car, and then I got 2 more after that. So I've had 3 cars in my lifetime, and I've bought them all myself. I ended up getting pregnant at the age of 19, and that kind of shifted my whole entire independence. So, because now I have this little person I need to take care of, right? So, when I got pregnant with my oldest son, things kind of shifted for me, because even though I had a team around me, it was just like, okay, you're responsible for this little person. And I still feel like that till this day. Like, with my whole team, mom, dads, grandparents, all of that, I just feel like my kids are my responsibility. Not solely, but solely, if that makes sense. So I tackle everything as if it's just me having to take care of it. Now, that's not a good thing, but that is a good thing because you know that I'm not a person that you would have to worry about. And I think that gives my mom some comfort because I haven't had to call her and say, Mom, I need this. Or, Mom, can you help me with this? Can you bail me out with this? Like, she hasn't had to do that. I wasn't that child. I also didn't have the luxury to be that child because, again, everything I have, I've worked for. I've worked for every single thing. I went to school while I was in the military, so I kind of did that all on my own. And a lot of my life took place during my military years. So my family was nowhere around. My first duty station, I was stationed up north in Connecticut. I'm from Louisiana. That's a long way, and nobody ever came to like see me or anything like that. So I really was just living life and learning on my own. Like everything that I've gone through has all been trial and error. Like I cannot make this up. I did not have anyone teaching me about finances. I didn't have anyone teaching me about, what it means to really be a mom, even though, and when I say that, I mean that there was no conversation had that says, hey, you need to do this or you need to do this. Or, it's just, it wasn't there. Like we didn't have those kind of conversations. Me and my mom didn't have any tough conversations. And that's not to say anything negative about her, but I think that it has something to do with the way that she was brought up. And then, of course, in Black families, we don't like to talk about nothing, okay? If there's an issue, we're not talking about it, none of that. But what my mom did give me was prayer. Like that was the thing, the one thing that was really instilled in me was to be independent and prayer. So let's go back to the Navy. And I'm sorry if this video is a little bit all over because I don't know, it's going to be a lot of jumping back and forth because it'll all tie in, at least in my mind it does. But back to the Navy. So being in the military, you kind of have to, and being at the military at the age of 18, you have to figure things out yourself. Like I wasn't calling my mom, like when I bought my car, I wasn't calling my mom, hey mom, what I do? You know how you see these memes and it's like, okay, mom, I'm about to call these. I'm so independent, but okay, mom, I need to call the doctor. What am I supposed to tell these people? No, I didn't have that. Like, I figured everything out on my own. When I bought my car, got my insurance, all of that, I did all of that by myself. And I didn't call my mom for any of that stuff. When I got pregnant, I didn't call my mom for any of that stuff. Like I called her and told her that I was pregnant. Of course, she was upset. So now in my mind, it's like, okay, I really got to go hard to make sure, that me and my kid is taken care of. I couldn't call her and say, how some people, they have their moms or whomever that'll take care of their kids for them while they still go live their best life as a young, like, mind you, I said I was 19 when I got pregnant. So at 19, you're still like a teenager. But in my mind, I grew up real quick. I had already grown up anyways because, like I said, I had been taking care of myself since I was 16. And then I moved out of my mom's house right after I got out of high school. Like, I think it was like a month after I got out of high school that I moved out of my mom's house because we would always bump heads because I was so independent and she wanted me to do what she wanted me to do when it was convenient for her at the time. But that's a whole nother story because I know my mama watch my videos and no, mom, I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying what it is, okay? So, when I got pregnant, everything, it shifted and I just kind of had to get my mind right. So I went to school. So let me tell you everything that I did, okay? So when I was in the military, I bought cars. I had children. I had 2 children. I got married and I moved a few times because I was in the military. Now, I did all of that. I was gone for 5 years. In those 5 years, I had one visit from my family, and that was from my sister. And that was Christmas right before my youngest son was born. So throughout all that time, I went through everything by myself. The birth of both of my children, no family. I did all of that stuff by myself, right? Without my family. So when I was talking about the whole credit thing, I didn't learn about credit. I didn't learn about parenthood. I didn't learn about cooking. I didn't learn about like really what it meant to be a young adult in the world. Like I learned all that stuff on my own. So once I got out of the, now I got married in the military, and then it was kind of hard for me to depend on my now ex-husband because I just felt like, well, hell, I didn't did all of this by myself, so why not? But then when you have children involved, you have to depend on the partner that you made these children with. So it was an adjustment for he and I, because I was independent, and it was just like, you so hard-headed and you so stubborn and blah, blah, blah. But the good thing was that he and I were best friends before we got together. So he kind of knew how I operated mentally. In my mind, I wasn't as young as my age, if that makes sense. So you couldn't just come to me and be like giving me the little stuff that these kids today thinking that it's okay, or I wasn't settling for anything. So he already knew how I was. So that transition wasn't as bad as it is today. Okay. So with all of that said, let's talk about, and these are going to be, now that I'm thinking about it, these are going to have to be like broken up so that you guys can get the full story of everything. So I got married, and then I got out of the military because it was like, okay, you're in the military, I'm in the military, we got these kids, somebody has to be at home with the kids. So for me to have to go through everything that I've acquired for myself, you know, I put myself through school, well, the Navy did, but I went to school, I got my degrees and everything. And then now here it is, I have to decide. Mind you, I got paid every 1st and 15th in the military. I had all kind of benefits, all kind of special pays and all of that good stuff. And now I'm at a point to where, okay, you're going to have to depend on somebody else to take care of not only you, but these two little people, right? And for me, I just felt like that was a sacrifice that I made. But at the time, it was a good sacrifice at the time, right? So I got out of the military, and now I'm solely depending on this person to take care of me and these two little people. And he did until he didn't. So, for a few years, everything was good, but I was going to school. But I always had a check coming in. Like, I'm one of them people where if I'm not working, I'm going to have some kind of income coming in. Now, it's going to be illegal income, but it's going to be income nonetheless. So I still had income coming in because I was going to school full time, and the Navy was paying me to do so. And then I also had some other money from the military coming in as well. So I always had money coming in, and I was a huge saver. I was a huge saver. So for me, that independence to where I could actually have money just saved up. Like a lot of people at that age, I was 20, 19, 20, 21, 22. I was 23 when I got out of the military. So for a 23-year-old to have two children and be responsible enough to have a savings, for me, that was my thing to say, okay, you'll be okay to depend on this person. So when I decided to get out, I kind of reverted a little bit in my independence. I got lost in being a wife. I got lost in being a mom. And that was okay because I was taken care of. Like, all of that was good and fine and dandy. You know, I still had my money coming in. It wasn't as much as when I was in the military, but I still had my money coming in. And so once we moved and everything and kind of got settled, I wasn't working. I didn't work for a full year. I wasn't working for a full year, but I still had my money coming in from school and everything was taken care of. And then we decided to move because it was time for him to go, and we moved to California, and then got real. Okay. Things got real. Now, mind you, I said I regressed in my independence in the sense of I was dependent on this other person, right? And I had let my guard down completely with this other person as far as my independence went. I didn't have to just be all me, because now I got this person helping me, and I know I can trust this person, and I don't have to worry about anything because now I'm at a place that, you know, it's me and this person, right? So get to California and things go left, and now I'm having to do everything again on my own. When that happened, it like put my independence into overdrive. I mean, it something mentally, after everything was said and done, it kind of put me in a way to where it's like, okay, I'm never, ever going to depend on anybody else ever again. I don't care who you are, what you say, whatever. It's me and it's me and it's me. Me, myself, and I, like Beyonce say, it's me, myself, and I, because I had already let my guard down, and then you show me something different, and now it's like, okay, this is why I was the way I was before. Had I not let my guard down, I wouldn't be in this situation. So now, having gone through all of that, once we got divorced, well, we started the divorce process, and then now I got to figure this out, right? So I'm figuring it out, and not only do I have to figure it out for myself, I have to figure it out for these two little people. Okay, all right, let's go. I got this. So I moved me and my children from California to Florida. Mind you, I don't have no family in Florida. I just told you I was from Louisiana. But we moved to Florida because that's where we created our family before we left for California. Once I got out of the military, that's where we created, some kind of roots, and I had a support system there to help with the boys or whatever. But even then, I wasn't really as dependent as I was before we had left. So we moved back to Florida, and I didn't start working for about 8 months maybe, because the job that I had in California, I had to give up. But the good thing was that they transferred me to Florida, because I was still working for the government, Department of the Navy, but it just wasn't in the U.S. Navy as an active duty sailor. But I was working for the Department of the Navy, so they transferred my job to California, but I couldn't start right away because something happened and all of that good stuff, which was a blessing in disguise, because I actually, while that time of me waiting for my jobs to become available, I was looking for other jobs, which is how I ended up back home in Louisiana. So in Florida, I moved me and my children from California to Florida. Now, if you know geography, you know that California is way over here and Florida is way over here down here. So that's a lot of money, okay? But I did it. So moved my kids to Florida, and then I got my job here in Louisiana. I then moved my kids again from Florida to Louisiana. Yes, that's a lot of moving, but we're military. Like, they're used to that. And they were smaller at the time. My kids were smaller at the time. So it wasn't like we were interfering with their school or anything like that, because they were smaller at the time. So I get here to Louisiana, and it was a lot that I had to fix. It was a lot that I had to do. And moving back here showed me even more of how independent I was, because when I came back, it was like, you have these children. Well, let me backtrack. In California, there was no support system. And in Florida, the support system that I had, it was kind of like I was on their time. Now, don't get me wrong. His mom was there. And she made herself available every time that she could. But sometimes she couldn't for whatever reason. So it was like I was juggling school. I was juggling 2 children. And I also was juggling a full-time job. This was while I was in California. So, of course, I'm like, okay, if I can do this, I got this. I don't need nobody else. And that's the mentality that I had. So when I moved here to California, when I moved back here home, I still had it, right? I still had it. I didn't have tolerance for anything or anybody and they BS. I still don't. And for me, that has become, I don't want to say a hindrance, but I do see how that has become a curse in a way, because like my family, they fuss at me all the time, because it's like, well, you're a single person, you're still young, and you have a life, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. And I'm just like, I understand that, but I'm not going to inconvenience anybody else because of something that I want to do, especially when it comes to like my children. For instance, like if I want to go and do something and I can't, if my mom is not available or my uncle is not available or my little cousin, because those are the only 3 people that really watch my kids. I'm not gonna make a big fuss about it like some people do. It's just like, okay, all right, I got it. And then the thing is, I won't even call them if I have something going on. Like, I'll just, if it's not important, like important, I'll just be like, don't worry about it. I'm good. Like, I'm good, you know? And my family is like, why do you do that? Why don't you call us so that we can help you? Like, we have you. So why don't you let us be what we're trying to be for you? And I've gotten a lot better. I've gotten a whole lot better. But it took me a while to get to a point, and I'm still not all the way there, but it took me a while to get to a point to say, okay, Dalana, like, let somebody help you. And it wasn't until my kids started school here and I got my job here that they needed, so their school time, I've always been one of those parents where I want to drop my children off at school and I want to pick them up. I don't want them riding the bus because kids are crazy and I will go to jail. Just point blank, end the period. So I've always wanted to be one of those parents. Now I can take them to school, but my job at the time wouldn't allow me to pick them up. So I had to rely heavily on my mom because my mom got off in time to go and pick them up. And their school was on her route to home. And then her house was around the corner from my job. So it all just kind of like worked out perfectly. But I had to like rely on her. And it was just like, I don't want to do that. Like, I just don't want to. Now, mind you, this is my mother, right? Like, she's a great grandmother. And I'm just like, nah, I don't know if I want to do that. But in my mind, that's that independence. Like, it's fighting. Like, why are you fighting so much? So then, you know, I got that situated. I'm good with the kids. And then here it is. Now you're talking about dating. So I got the kids situated. They all happy. You know, we got a routine. We good to go. Then here we go talking about dating. Ooh, child. So when I got home, I had a plan. Like, my plan was to come home, reground, regroup, get myself together after my divorce, and we was gonna shoot out. Well, I had the bright idea to buy a house. So I bought a house, okay? Because I wanted my children to have roots where my roots were, okay? Because they don't really have like one of my children was born in Connecticut, and then my other child was born in Texas. So they really don't have, like, when somebody asks them where you from, they ain't gonna know what to say because we were military, so we moved around so much. And I tell them, like, you were born here, but you're a Louisianian by birthright, like, for me. But that's not roots. So I wanted them to have something that they could come back to and call home, right? Because we moved so much. So I bought a house here. Why? Because my family's here. So I was just like, oh, let me just buy a house here. It's never in the plan, but let me buy a house here. And the fact that I was able to buy a house solely, no man, no nothing, no separate income, no nothing, just me, myself, and I. Oh, baby, you couldn't say I mean nothing. Like, I'm Miss Independent. What B say? I am Miss Independent. No, not B. Webbit. INDEPENDENC. That's me, you know? Like, I'm buying a house. I got my car. I'm paying my car off. And then here you go. Talk about bringing a man into my life. For what? What you gonna do? Not nothing. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm taking care of all this. You know how y'all see those memes where it say if a girl is paying over, what, $1,500 or something like that a month, she not trying to be hit up with the what you doing? That's where I'm at. And I feel like that is hindering me from acquiring what it is that I want as far as being in a relationship again. So, I'm going to end this video here because it's already long. And we are going to pick back up next week. And we are going to talk about independence, blessing and a curse when in a relationship. So today we talked about being independent, a blessing and a curse, just kind of like a background, because I want you to know where I'm coming from. And I didn't even give you guys everything. And that's why it was so all over the place, because we'll be here hours. But I just wanted to give y'all a background because I think I'm going to make this into like a, you know how you go to church? Nah, I'm not a pastor at all, so that ain't what I'm saying. But you know how you go to church and they do the teachings and it might last a few weeks? I feel like this one is going to be that, because there's so many things and so many areas that a person could be independent and it be a blessing and a curse. So it could be with motherhood, it can be with relationships, friendships, just anything. And I don't want to try and pack everything in one video, because I'm not going to be able to get out what I'm trying to get out. So next week we are going to talk about independence, blessing and a curse in relationships. So y'all let me know what y'all thought about this video. I know it was all over the place, and I thank you for if you made it this far. I thank you for rocking with me and staying with me. But if you have these issues of being independent and you find yourself like fighting all the time, regardless of what it is, you find yourself struggling, you find yourself like just trying to figure it out, let me know, because I know I'm not the only one. I can't be the only one. Like, I know I'm not the only one. So yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead. Let's end this. I'm rambling at this point. It's already, we're almost 30 minutes. And let me know in the comments. And I hope y'all come back next week for Talk About It Tuesdays. So think about it, brainstorm, come back, and we gonna chat. All right? All right. Hi guys, DalanaB here, and I am back with another segment on my channel, and this is called Talk About It Thursday. Now, we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. It can be about relationships, it can be about friendships, family ships, whatever kind of ship that you may in, situationships, entanglementships, whatever, workships, anything that has to do with everyday life with everyday people. This is just a safe space for you to come and kind of talk about things, get different perspectives from people outside of those that you know, because sometimes it's good to get a perspective from a stranger or someone that you do not know. These are issues that I deal with, have dealt with, and probably will deal with in life, or what I see other people going through, you know, kind of just scrolling through social media or whatever the case may be. It doesn't have to do with anything specific. It's just everyday things that adults go through, maybe teenagers go through, whomever. Everybody goes through something in their life, and I just wanted to come on here and create a space where we can just kind of talk and vibe and, you know, just have nice conversation, healthy conversation. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.